going to set up a couple of things here, and we are going to get started. While I am doing this, please bring out Ms. Simon.
Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us. We are about to continue our coverage of the Leilani Simon trial, which is on day 2 today. Yesterday, day 1, we heard opening statements, and for most of the morning and then in the afternoon, testimony began. We are going to continue this live stream. One thing to keep in mind, this is going to be 30 minutes delayed. For all of our coverage is 30 minutes delayed at request of the judge. Just to go over a few things that we heard yesterday, we heard from both the prosecution and defense in those opening statements, and then we heard a number of testimony from law enforcement who responded to the initial 911 call from Leilani Simon. So we're going to continue our coverage. The stream is 30 minutes delayed, as I said. They started around 9:10 this morning, so everything you're seeing is a bit behind, but we're going to continue streaming all day. So thanks so much for joining us. You can find full coverage on WTOC.com, both online and on air. We'll keep you updated.
On the record with SPCR 22-03364J6, the state of Georgia versus Leilani Marie Simon. Let the record reflect that Ms. Simon is present at counsel's table with her attorneys, Robert Purse and Martin Hilliard. The state is represented by AUSA Tim Dean and Assistant District Attorney Jenny Parker, as well as Detective Lemons. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
All right. The state may call its first. Well, we might want to have the jury first. We got a few folks we need to have. All right, please have a seat, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone in the courtroom, please have a seat. Welcome back and good morning. Thank you all for being on time, and I could tell by your looks you are ready to go. I will ask you, has anyone discussed the case with anyone, viewed any media, read any media, done any research in this matter? Okay, and there's a resounding no ma'am from everyone. So with that, we're going to go directly back into the evidence. The state may call its next witness.
Philip Shanter.
The evidence you take to the court and the jury and the trial position should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, sir. Step this way. Have a seat.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir. You ready to begin?
Yes, sir.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Corporal Philip Schinker with Chatham County Crime Scene Unit.
And how do you spell your version of Philip?
Philip.
And could you spell your last name, please?
Schenker.
You were a police officer with the Chatham County Police, you said?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the Chatham County Police Department?
Coming up on 7 years.
And what positions have you held during your time with Chatham County?
Patrol officer and crime scene unit.
Crime scene unit, you said?
Yes, sir.
Are there any other terms for that unit that people use?
Forensics.
How long have you been with the crime scene unit or forensics unit?
A little over 2 years.
And what is the role, broadly speaking, of the crime scene unit or the forensics unit?
Pretty much we collect and preserve evidence in the crime scene.
Okay. Now, on the morning of October 5th, 2022, did you respond to 535 Buckhalter as part of the larger police response to this missing child call?
Yes, sir.
About what time did you arrive?
I'd say approximately around 11-ish. Not 100% sure.
And were detectives present already at the time that you got there?
I believe so.
Now, who from the crime scene unit or the forensics unit went out to the residence that day?
Myself, my Sergeant Coleman, Corporal Shiro, and Officer Dickens.
And what was the initial purpose of you all going out there?
Our initial purpose was to put the drone up to assist with searching the missing child.
And did that happen?
Yes.
Now, eventually, in your time there that day, did you document photographically the residence and surrounding area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us about how that unfolded? When you took pictures and what the pictures were taken of? I mean, we're going to go through some of them, but broadly speaking.
Initially, when I got there, I was advised that there may be blood on a pillow inside the house, so I went inside, took pictures of the pack and play in the room, and then I backed out, and then we put up the drone for a little bit, and then later on that night, I took overall photos of the outside of the residence and the inside of the residence.
So there was initially a period shortly after your arrival where you took a few pictures of the pack and play,
Yes, sir.
and then you backed out
Yes, sir.
and took many more photographs later.
Yes, sir.
And was that after a search warrant had been obtained for the residence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many pictures did you take total, if you remember?
A lot.
Would it refresh your memory to look
Yeah,
at
let me
the
look at
report?
this real quick. On that day, I took 475 photos.
In the course of taking those photographs and walking around the residence, did you have an opportunity to examine the front door?
Yes.
Did there appear to be any signs of forced entry or anything like that?
There did not.
Did you see anywhere in the house any obvious signs of a struggle?
I did not.
Okay. Do you see in front of you an exhibit marked as States Exhibit 10?
I'm sorry, what did you?
States Exhibit 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you leaf through that and tell us what that is? You don't have to necessarily look at every picture.
This is the photo from the first day.
Is that all of them or just a selection?
Just a selection.
Okay. What is, going off the number here, what is the total number of images? You looked at the last page, I think.
114.
All right, now, do those images fairly and accurately depict the residents and the surrounding area as you photographed it that day?
Yes, sir.
Do they appear to have been altered or modified in any way?
They do not appear to be.
Your Honor, I would move State's Exhibit 10 into evidence at this time.
Having reviewed it, Judge, no objection.
State's Exhibit number 10 is submitted in evidence.
And I would ask to publish this exhibit to the jury.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Now, this is photograph number 1 of State's Exhibit 10. Can you tell us what this is?
This is a photo log. It gives our case number, the location signal, which is the crime or what we're responding to, who went to it, the date of it, and then the time approximately we arrived. We put this at the beginning of all of our photos, so you kind of get a summary of what you're about to look at.
Okay. Now, moving on to image 2, what is this?
This is the front of the residence. I'm standing on Buckhalter looking towards the front of the residence.
Now, can you see the front door in this image?
Yes, sir.
And where is it?
It's all the way to the left, right behind the green chair.
Okay, is that what that is? There a green chair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is that like a little small patio area outside the front door?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on to the next image. Well, let me ask you this. Are there any other doors on the front?
There are no other doors on the front.
Were there any doors on the sides of the house?
No, sir.
Okay. There are other doors on the back,
Yeah,
correct?
there's 2 in the back.
Okay, so 3 total exterior doors on this house?
Yes, sir.
Moving to image 3, where are we now? Where have we moved?
So I moved further down Buckhalter just to get a different angle of the front of the house and the side.
And 4, where are we here?
4, I am at the end of the property line, further, I believe it's west, of their yard, looking towards pretty much the front and the back of the house.
Okay. Now, is that there, the driveway for 535 Buckhalter that you see there?
Yes, sir.
And where are we now?
Now I'm standing at the edge of their driveway looking into the backyard.
And there's a truck here, right?
Yes, sir. I believe that belonged to the son.
The son, you said?
Or brother.
Now, in image 6, where have we moved here relative to that last image where we were standing behind the truck?
I'm in front of the truck at the gate entering into the backyard.
And what do we see off to the right there?
There's a detached carport with the RV, a white truck, and an SUV.
Are you referring to the white SUV more or less in the middle of the frame?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next image, how have we moved or changed our position relative to the last image?
So I had just panned right and started taking photos of the fence line.
Okay, so you've made a 90-degree turn to the right, and this is just a front corner of the yard.
Yes, sir.
The next image,
I'm starting to pan left. You can see the carport on your left-hand side from the previous pictures.
and in image 9, still panning left.
Yeah, still panning left.
Image 10,
Continuing to pan left.
and image 11.
Image 11, continue to pan left. Just got some more vehicles and the trash cans and starting to get the side of the house.
Can you see my cursor on the screen, my pointer?
Yes.
All right. What is this here?
Those are 3 trash cans.
And what is that structure that they appear to be sitting on?
It's just a wooden structure that they built, I believe, to keep the trash cans in.
All right, when you began taking pictures, were those trash cans closed?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to image 12, where are we here? What movement have we made and where are we looking?
So I have made my way around. I am at the back edge of their property looking, now I'm looking towards the, I guess, back of the house, towards the street.
Okay, so you've just moved to the back of the property line and you're looking back the way you just come from.
Yes, sir.
Image 13,
I have moved to the right a little bit more.
we're talking about kind of a side step along the back fence.
Yeah, just a little distance.
Okay, and we can still see that white SUV on the left-hand side of the frame,
Yes, sir.
and 2 other vehicles in the center there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is this structure on the right-hand side?
That is a detached barn or garage.
A detached garage?
Yes.
Okay, so far in terms of structures, we've talked about the house itself, right? There was the detached kind of carport with the RV in it,
Yes, sir.
and now we're looking at a detached garage in the back as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In image 14, where have we moved relative to the last image?
Further right, this is just kind of the side of the garage, and there's also a carport attached to that garage.
Is this the back side of the garage, the furthest side away from the house itself?
Yes, I'm still on the property line.
And what are we seeing there on the side of the garage?
2 trailers, a car, and some tools and ladders in the background.
Okay, so is there like a carport that extends off the back side of the garage?
Yes, sir.
And is that what that car is under?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where are we here relative to the last photo?
The back property line, and then I guess you'd say the far right from where I'm standing, property line looking towards the street. The garage is on my left, and the house is a little bit further on my left.
So is it fair to say that relative to the last image, you've just sidestepped further to your right, to where your right shoulder is basically along the fence that bounds the
Yes, sir.
property? Okay. Now, what is that in front of us beyond the detached garage? What are we looking at there?
There's a pull-up here, and those are a couple, like, fire pits.
A pool, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a couple fire pits. And is that area where we're going to go next?
Yes, sir.
All right, what movement have we made here?
I just traveled down the fence line. Garage is now on my left. Pole's on my right. If you look at the bottom, you can see the fire pit.
Oh, I see. Is that what's at the
Yes,
bottom
sir.
of the frame?
So I'm standing right next to the fire pits, looking towards the detachable carport.
Okay, and then is that the RV we see off in the distance?
Yes, sir.
So essentially, you've just kind of made a loop around the detached garage.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on to number 17, what are we doing here? Just panning to the right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is that area that we see on the other side of the pool from where we are right now? On the
that's
back
a-
side of the house. Can you just describe that area there?
It's like a covered patio area.
Okay, and what's in it?
There's like a little seating area, and if you go towards the, I guess you would call that a carport, attached carport, there's a little children's play area back there.
Children's play area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving to 18, we've just panned all the way to the right here.
Yes, sir.
In 19, what are we looking at here? That seating area
Yes, sir.
beyond the pool.
Beyond the pool. And the barn is behind me at this point. Or not the barn, I'm sorry, the garage.
Now, in image 20, where are you standing? Where have you moved now as you take this picture?
So I am in underneath the patio in the little seating area, like right in the middle of the seating area, facing, I'd be facing the carport if that's a good point of reference.
All right, so you've gone across, like on the other side of the pool from where you were in the last image, and you're standing in that seating area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is the house on the right here?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier that there is one exterior door on the front, none on the sides, and two on the back.
Yes, sir.
Are those two on the back visible in this image?
Yes.
Can you tell us where they are?
The white door on the right-hand side, that's the dining room door. And if you look a little bit further past it, there's a little dark area. That's the living room door.
Can you kind of step down and just point to where the living room door is in this picture, please? All right, so it's right beyond that play gate, I suppose,
Yes, sir.
on the right side of it?
Yes, sir.
And that opens into the living room.
Yes, sir.
Number 21, where are we here? What are we looking at?
I just moved forward. There's the dining room door would be to my right, and I'm looking into the play area.
Okay, so that dark bit we can see on the far right side of the frame, is that part of the frame of the dining room door there?
No, that would be.
Or I mean the living room door?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 22,
Just inside of the play area, you got a couch, a little trampoline, slides, kid toys.
and 23.
This is from the back of the play area, looking towards the patio.
Okay, now, this area right here in the far side of the frame, is this up here the seating area that you were initially in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is this dark structure in towards the top left?
It's like maybe a little bar.
Okay. Now, where are we here?
Here, I have just moved over to the right a little bit. I'm kind of standing in front of that trampoline, pointing towards the doors up to enter the home.
And can we see the living room door and the dining room door in this picture?
Yes, sir.
All right, living room door being the dark one towards the top center,
Yes, sir.
and the dining room door being the white ones off to the right.
Yes, sir.
Now, does that pretty much cover the exterior of the house?
Yes, sir.
No, it's not unplugged because it's. Thank you. If there were a better place to plug it in than right at somebody's feet, we would do it.
Is it on that side?
When I drop my water, I end up putting my foot on it. I do apologize.
Apologies needed.
Okay, so here we are at the front door, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that was 25 and 26, we've just moved a little bit closer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before we're about to go into the house, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you this. You walk through that house.
Yes, sir.
How would you describe the layout in a word?
Clustered.
A cluster?
I feel like that's the
Okay,
best
don't.
way to describe it.
Was it confusing?
It's very confusing.
Okay. Do you see in front of you an exhibit marked as State's Exhibit 9?
Yes.
All right, what is that?
This is, I guess, the internet layout of the home.
Okay. Now, you've been in the house and you've had the chance to walk through it. Other than where the front door is denoted as being on there, does that fairly and accurately depict the general layout of the first floor of this residence?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would move this into evidence as State's Exhibit 9.
Got it real quick, Judge?
Objection, Judge. And may I publish, Your Honor? Okay.
I do have to say, it looks like there's a door leading from the kitchen to the room. That door's not there.
Okay, well, let's do it this way. Can you step down? Well, I'll tell you what, you sit there, I'll come up. We're just gonna work through these rooms, starting at the front door and going, more or less clockwise, okay? The front door, first of all, is labeled as being right here. Is that accurate?
No, that's a window.
All right. Is the front door kind of in the top right-hand corner here?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you walk in, what is this first room on the far right?
Looks like a living room, bedroom area.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that there's a spot on here where it looks like there's a door from that room into the kitchen, but it is not in fact a door.
It is.
Can you come down and describe what you're talking about?
This area right here, that is a wall.
Okay. And so is it the case that when you were in that room that day, you cannot pass through there into the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. And why is that? Just so I understand.
I guess they walled it off,
Okay.
or it appeared to be walled off.
All right. Do you have something to write with in front of you there? And I didn't ask you to bring one, so if you don't, it's okay.
Thank you.
Can you, on that exhibit, can you just draw an X at the spot that you were just talking about, as appearing to be a door but not actually being a door?
Let's trade pins. Use this one instead, that's better.
Thank you.
And just for the record, I handed the detective a pen, and I handed him a Sharpie, because I think that would be better.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, so how do you get from this room into the main body of the house?
From the front door, you have to walk through the whole room.
Come on down.
From the front door, you gotta walk through the whole room, go through a door here that leads to a bathroom, and then you'll enter the dining room. From here, you have to go through this door to go through the kitchen, and then this door to go into a hallway, and then come down here. You can go up the stairs right here, or go through another door to the main, or I guess the master living room, and then another door to go to the master bedroom.
Can you do this with that Sharpie that you have in front of you? Can you, and go slow and make sure you do it right, I want this to be in the record. Can you draw the path that one would have to take through the house to go from the front door, not on the screen,
I'm not
but
gonna.
yeah, show us again on the screen and then draw it on the paper, please. To go from the front door to the
Front door.
living room door.
Front door, you walk through. You have to go through this door, go through a bathroom, another door to go through the kitchen, another door to go through, dining room, another door to go through the kitchen, through a hallway, either upstairs to 2 bedrooms, or through another door to go to the master living room, and then another door to go to the master bedroom.
What about the living room door?
Living room door is right here, and then the dining room door is right here.
All right. So let's just take a moment. Can you, on the paper exhibit, can you draw a path from the only path, as you've described it, from the front door to the living room door? Not the dining room door, not upstairs, but the living room door.
Okay.
All Now, so you said bed, front door, top right, bedroom, bathroom, dining room, kitchen, hallway, living room, master bedroom, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple things, and I'm doing this because the pictures are a little confusing, fair to say.
Yes, sir.
Can you come down and describe to us what parts of the kitchen we're seeing in this image? Where are the sinks?
So coming from the dining room, you will have your stove and your oven right here on your right. Your sinks are here, refrigerator's right here, and you have a little pantry here. There's a pass-through window leading into the hallway right here above the sink.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Well,
All right, with that, we can get back into the images, okay? All right. 27, where are we standing as this picture is taken, and what are we looking at?
so I am at the doorway looking into the room all the way down the far left wall.
And what's in the foreground closest to us?
There's a couch, and then, or I guess that was a kid bed too.
Say again?
A child's bed.
The child's bed is where?
The couch.
Okay. And what's just beyond the couch?
There is a baby swing. Beyond that is a desk, and then there's a bed in the far back corner.
And what is that to the right of the bed?
Dresser.
28, where have we moved relative to the last image?
I've just panned right a little bit. So you'll see the dresser, the full dresser, there's a closet door, and then another kid bed on the right hand side.
29,
Pan right a little bit more. You'll see the kid bed, a dresser, a projector screen, and that's where the that door would have been on the previous picture.
the door that you mentioned as having been walled off and not operational, that's behind the projector screen?
Yes, sir.
And then 30, where are we here?
That is the pack and play that I mentioned earlier.
31,
The pillow inside the pack and play.
and 32.
Again, the pillow inside the pack and play.
Now I'm going to zoom in on this picture a little bit. Do you see that substance there?
Yes, sir.
Did you get a good look at it while you were out there?
I did, sir.
And what, if anything, did it appear to you to be?
I believed it to be vomit.
Okay. Did it appear to be blood?
It didn't.
Okay.
It's a lot redder in that picture than it actually was.
You're saying it's appearing redder on the screen than
Yes, sir.
it actually was when you were out there?
Yes, sir.
Did not appear to be blood to you?
No.
Did you do any testing at any point to determine whether it was blood?
I did not.
33, another picture of the same.
Another picture. The blanket is out because we searched the pack and play after
Okay.
the picture.
Now, let me actually go back. Okay, so in 34, where is that pink blanket?
It is, or on 34, it's on the, I guess you call it the rail at the side.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to, pardon me, to 31. I'm on 31. Where's the pink blanket in this picture?
It's inside the pack and play on the pad.
All right, so we've got some pictures where the pink blanket is in the pack and play and some where it's on the rail.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us when it was moved and why?
It was moved due to, or I guess it was moved when we were looking for, see if there's any blood on the inside the pack and play.
Okay, so
And then we just moved it to look at the blanket itself and to look at the mat.
okay, thank you. Did you have gloves on when you did that?
Yes, sir.
moving on to 35, just another view of the pack and play after the blanket has been moved.
Yes, sir.
36, same.
Same.
All right, 37, where are we here?
My back is towards the pack and play, and I'm looking towards the bed in the far left corner.
Okay. So you're essentially standing at the pack and play here?
Yes, sir.
38,
38, I just pan left, same spot.
39,
39, pan left. You can see the front door in the left side, the couch, and then there's a safe and a projector on the window back there.
40,
40, at the desk, looking towards the front door. You can see the street in the background.
41,
I have pan left, front doors on the right, pack and play, and the projector screen. Continue moving to the left.
43,
Oh, sorry. Pan to the left even more. Kid's bed and the closet door.
44,
Just continue panning.
and 45, what are we looking at now?
45. That's the, I guess, the entrance into the rest of the house. That's the bathroom right there. You can see the dresser right there on the left-hand side.
All right, and then what is this through that door that I'm,
Just a little
Highlight.
storage cabinet.
all right, that's inside the bathroom?
Yes, sir.
46,
Pan to the left a little bit more. You can see the bed now and the dresser.
and 47.
Just a view of the bed.
All right, 48, where are we?
48, I am by the bed and the dresser looking into the bathroom.
49,
Starting to take photographs into the bathroom. This is the little storage cabinet from the previous photos.
and is that on your left as you walk in?
Yes, sir.
50,
Starting to pan right. That's the door leading into the dining room. And you can start seeing the shower bathtub on your right.
we can see those dining room doors that you were talking about earlier through the door we're looking
Yes,
through.
sir.
51,
Just continue panning to the right. Now you can see the shower bath.
52,
That's the shower. I'm starting to make my way around the bathroom.
53,
Continue panning right. You got a sink and a mirror.
and 54.
54. This is above the toilet. The toilet's at the bottom. And then you got a little storage shelf.
I'd like to zoom in on this storage shelf here. See that little bottle with the blue, red, and yellow label? What is that?
Ambisol.
Do you know what Ambisol is?
It's a oral pain relief.
Okay. Something like a liquid you rub on your gums or teeth to relieve dental pain?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now 55, where are we here?
55. We're at in the bathroom, looking into the dining room. The dining room door from the previous photos is on the left, and then you have a little dog cage and then dining room table on your right.
56,
Just panning through the dining room, you can start to see the kitchen entrance door or entrance on your right hand side.
57,
57. The dining room doors are right behind me, looking into the kitchen through the dining room.
okay. 58,
Continue panning right. That's a little storage closet, and you have a deep freezer.
still in the dining room here.
Still in the dining room.
And 59, where have we moved and what are we looking at?
So I have moved around. The kitchen entrance is to my left. I'm in that corner, and I'm looking towards the bathroom door, and you can see the dining room door on the very right of the picture.
All right, so that dark wood door in the middle that we're looking at is the door that you came through to get into the dining room?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the white door on the right is the door to the outside that
Yes, sir.
they call the dining room door. 60?
Now I'm on the other side of the dining room or the kitchen door. The closet is going to be on my left. And then you can see the edge of the bathroom door that I came through. And now you can see the dining room door leading outside.
61, you just pan to the right a little more.
Yes, sir.
62, same.
Same.
63, same.
Same.
And 64, where are we now?
64, we are in the kind of the doorway and looking into the kitchen from the dining room.
And can we see the sinks in this picture?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned there's something that you called a pass-through window over the sinks. Is that at least partially visible in this picture?
Yes, sir. If you look at the, looks like little pill bottles, right behind that is just the pass-through. There's an open window right before you get to those pill bottles.
Kind of an unusual feature of the house.
I think so.
65, where are we here?
Back, I'm still at the doorway. I just kind of pan left. You can start to see the oven and the stove.
And that stove is on sort of a peninsula that juts out into the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
66, where are we now?
So now I'm on the, you can see the doorway entering the kitchen from the dining room.
That's on the right there. That's the door you came through.
Yeah, and then the oven and the stove are now on my left.
Okay. So you stepped into the kitchen and turned around, basically.
Yes, sir.
67.
Continue, or just panning left from the same position. You can stove and then a little storage closet.
And 68, where are we here?
68, the stove, kind of from that picture earlier, I went around the stove and I'm on the other side of the refrigerator looking towards the sink. And then you can see the little pass-through window from there.
What's that in the bottom right corner, or I'm sorry, bottom left corner of the image?
That's the trash can.
And was that trash can full?
Yes, sir.
'69.
Just pan to the left a little bit, same spot.
70.
Continue to pan left.
And what's that on the left side that we're seeing there?
That's the pantry
And 71.
and the full pantry.
72.
Continue to pan left for the pantry.
All right, 73. What are we looking at here? Where are we going?
So I am closer to the pantry now, and this is the doorway into that little L-shaped hallway.
74.
Just looking through the little doorway into the L-shaped hallway. The white door on the right is another little storage closet pantry thing.
And that's out in the hallway.
Yes.
All right, 75. Where have we moved? What are we looking at?
I am in the hallway now. The opening to go into the kitchen will be on my right, and this is the little storage closet that I had in the previous picture with that door.
All right. Just in case anybody's dizzy or confused at this point, I'm pulling up this diagram. Can you just come down and point to us where you are at this point in time and which direction you're looking?
So right now, I will be right here, looking this way.
Okay.
This is going to be where the closet is.
So the hallway in the top center of State's Exhibit 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay. '76.
Pretty much have done a 180, and now I'm looking down the hallway.
Okay. 77.
I've walked through the previous opening, look left. The doorway in front of you is the doorway leading into the living room. On the left-hand side is the opening to go from the kitchen, And then on the right, very right-hand side, you can start seeing the stairwell that goes upstairs.
So you're looking down the hallway that's on the other side of that pass-through window over the sink.
Yes.
78,
Move closer to the living room opening. The opening or the kitchen opening will be on my left, and that stairwell will be on my right.
79,
A little bit further, starting to get into the living room.
and can you describe that piece of furniture that we're looking at there?
It's one of those. It's a couch, like an L-shaped couch.
Okay. 80,
Into the living room, starting to pan to the right, getting the full living room. You got a big entertainment system, and the L-shaped couches on the left. So,
now 81, where have you moved here?
this I am behind the couch. I guess you don't have the other picture up. Kind of between the front door and the laundry room area.
Okay. 82, where are you here?
I'm on the other side of the couch, looking towards the front door. The big TV entertainment thing would be behind me.
And what is the living room door
I'm sorry,
partially visible in
living
this
room door.
image?
Yeah, the very right, you'll see the living room door.
Okay. Is it the blue thing or is it beyond that?
Beyond that, it's I guess the white door with the colors on it. I don't know if y'all can see that in that picture. Far right.
Is it right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 83,
83, I've panned left from the view of the front door, and now you can see the little laundry area.
84.
Continue to pan left.
Now zooming in here in the middle, is this the hallway that you came through to get in
Yes, sir.
to the room in the first place?
Yes, sir.
And what have we done here?
So I have panned left all the way, and then this is the doorway to go into the master bedroom.
Now, did you go in the master bedroom
I did.
and did you take pictures in there?
Did.
Is there a
Yes.
bathroom in there as well?
There is, sir.
Did you take pictures of all of that?
Yes, sir.
Where are we here in 86?
This is going back into the hallway that I entered the living room from.
All right, and what are we looking at in the top middle of the frame?
Top middle is that pass-through for the kitchen.
87, where are we here?
I've panned left and starting to get pictures of the staircase.
88,
The staircase to go upstairs.
89. When you get at the top of the stairs here at the landing,
To your left is a bedroom. Straight ahead of you is a bathroom, and then to your right is another bedroom.
90.
This is entering the bedroom on the left-hand side.
Okay, the left as you're looking up the stairs.
Yes, sir.
91.
This is the view into the bedroom from the doorway. You have a closet door on your right. The bed was kind of at an angle. Yeah.
92.
This is from a view from that closet door I mentioned previously, looking towards the other closet.
93.
Just continually panning left.
94.
Pan left even more. You can see a little L-shaped couch, little seating area right there.
And 95.
This is from the other side of the room, and that's the door I entered to come into the room.
Okay, so this you just walked in the room to the far side of it, turned around. 96, where are we here?
This is the view from the bedroom I'm in across the hall into the next bedroom.
97.
This is from the doorway, looking right. You can see a, I can't remember what that it was. Kind of like a little dresser thing. There's a little closet door, and you can see a start of a children's bed.
All right, so you just stepped into the doorway for the other bedroom upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Turn to the right.
Now,
98.
now I panned a little bit left. You can see the bed. You can see another mattress on the floor.
99.
99, pan left a little bit. You can see a crib and a closet in this one.
100.
I've stepped into the room. I'm on the right wall looking towards the closet, panning to the left.
Oh, what is all this stuff over here?
A bunch of clothes and toys, I believe.
Did this room appear to you to be being used, or did it appear to be something more like a spare room or a storage room?
It didn't appear to be used at this point in time.
Are we looking here at the door that you came in?
Yes, sir.
And is, on the left side, is this that
So like,
dark wood piece of furniture that we saw earlier?
yes, sir.
And 102, where are we here?
My back is towards the bunk bed, looking at the wall across. You can see the door I entered on the right-hand side.
All right. 107, where are we here?
That is the detached garage outside.
Now, the carport with the RV under it, or the garage with the door and all that?
This is the garage with the door.
Are we still looking in the garage here in 108?
Yes, sir.
109, another picture of the garage?
Yes, sir.
And what is that right there on the floor of the garage in 109?
That's a stuffed Mickey Mouse toy, a little racing suit.
Thank you. 110, were these the trash cans that we saw very early on outside in that rack?
Yes, sir.
Did you guys take them out of the rack, open them up, and see what was in them?
Yes, sir.
Just trash?
There were some other items in there. I had a pillow, a red rag, and some documentations, and a welcome home mat.
111?
111. This is the Dodge Journey that was parked outside the garage. Or
Could you just read the tag into the record?
TEN 9300
Georgia?
Georgia tag.
112, what are we looking at here? What is happening?
These were items taken out of the trash can in the kitchen.
Okay, so y'all looked in the garbage, see what was in there?
Yes, sir.
Normal household garbage?
For the most part.
113,
These are receipts that they located in the garage, or the trash can.
Cheddar's Restaurant,
Yes, sir.
and then in 114, some other trash. All right. So, after the 5th, were you involved in processing and photographing some other evidence?
Yes, sir.
Did you photograph the Dodge Journey?
Yes, sir.
And where did that take place?
FBI Savannah.
And how did the vehicle get from 535 Buckhalter to the FBI Savannah office?
It was towed.
Do they have a secure lot there that they can hold vehicles in?
Yes, sir.
And when did you search the Journey?
That would be on the 6th.
6th of October?
Yes, sir.
And you took photographs of it when you did that?
Yes, sir.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 11?
Yes, sir.
Can you look through this and tell us whether that is a selection of the photographs that you took of the Journey?
Yes, sir.
Is it that? The document in front of you, is that a selection of photographs?
Yes, sir.
for the attorney? Is it, do those photographs fairly and accurately depict the vehicles that appear to you on the 6th?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would offer this in as State's Exhibit 11.
Objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 11 is admitted.
All right. First image in State's Exhibit 11 is on the screen. Can you tell us what this is?
Again, this is the photo log that we put at the beginning of all of our photos. The case number, the location where I was at, 2003 Chatham Center Drive. Signal was still missing child. I was still the investigator. The date was 10/6/22, and the time was approximately 16:14.
4:14 p.m. for
Yes, sir.
those of us on 12-hour time.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, slide 2, what are we looking at?
This is the view of the front of the journey.
Slide 3,
The driver's side front,
4,
driver's side,
5,
the rear,
6,
passenger side rear,
7,
passenger side. And just kind of pan to the right and got the rest of the passenger side.
8,
Passenger side front.
9,
This is the driver's side door open.
10.
Nope, sorry. 10. That's
Yeah,
the
go
driver's
on the
side.
screen with me if you can see it all right.
That's the driver's side door.
11,
Driver's seat and the floor area. That's some trash on the floor. Yeah, two alcohol bottles and like a little wooden skewer.
what's this alcohol bottle here?
Fireball.
And then this other one here is something called
Curveball.
curveball. Do you know what that is?
Not 100% sure. I think it was whiskey, something like that.
13,
That's still the driver's side steering wheel, and you can see the gear shifter. That's the driver's side rear door.
all right, and I just gotta be clear for the record, we're on 14. That's the rear driver's side door.
Yes, sir. This
15,
is looking into the back seat from the driver's side.
16.
This is the rear of the vehicle with the hatch open.
Now, this whitish substance, is that something that you all put in there?
No, we did not put that in.
Was it already in there when you opened the car up?
Yes, sir.
And had you in fact seen it at the scene the day before on the 5th?
The trunk?
I mean, had you seen through the window that there's
Yeah.
some stuff in there?
Yes, sir.
So this was in there during the police response?
Yes, sir.
It's already there, it's not something that got in there between the 911 call, or at least between police arrival and your photographing the car.
Yes, they had it.
Do you know what it was?
Not 100% sure. We did do we took a sample of it and we did do a little self-test there. Kind of appeared to be like kid cereal.
What do you
baby
mean?
cereal.
You said you did what test?
We took a sample of it, put it in some hot water and stirred it up. Kind of had a grainy, oaty smell.
A grainy, oaty smell?
Yeah, or weedy smell.
And did it dissolve in water?
It did.
Did it appear to you to likely be some kind of children's cereal?
It did.
$17.
This is the passenger side rear door. And looking into the vehicle from the passenger side.
What's that there in the floorboard?
That is a natural light beer can.
19. 2019?
Front passenger door.
20?
That's the front passenger floorboard and the seat.
21. That's it for State's Exhibit 11.
Yes, sir.
One moment. Is it also part of the duties of the forensics unit to collect video footage?
Yes, sir.
You sometimes get them from Ring doorbells on people's houses,
Yes, sir.
from businesses.
Yes, sir.
Did you participate in an effort to obtain relevant video footage in this case?
Yes, sir.
And was that centered on the Chevron Azalea Mobile Home Park area near the intersection of Ogeechee Road and Buckhalter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you go to the Chevron that's right next to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, sir.
And did you obtain video footage from there?
Yes, sir.
And when was it that you did that?
On the 7th.
7th of October,
Yes, sir.
2022?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 2 days after the 911 call, you were out there at the Chevron getting video footage?
Yes, sir.
And for what time period did you obtain video footage from the Chevron?
Can I look at my report real quick? We got from approximately 1:18 to 1:30ish.
Is that all you collected, is 1 minute of video footage?
Looks like it's more than 1 minute.
Okay. What I'm asking is, what general time frame, I'm not asking what the notable or relevant portion was. I'm asking you, what is the general time frame that you were getting video footage for?
Approximately maybe like 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay. Now, did you see during that time period, what was you said, 115 to 118 or something like that?
1:18 to like 1:30ish.
118 to 130-ish?
Yeah.
Did you see on that footage what appeared to be the Dodge Journey that you photographed?
Yes, sir.
And did you see whether that vehicle did or did not stop at the Chevron?
Yes, sir. It did not.
And did it stop at the Chevron during
No,
that
sir.
time period? Okay. Could you nevertheless see the vehicle in the Chevron footage?
Yes, sir.
And what did it do?
It traveled north on Ogeechee, it turned into the Azalea parking lot road, and drove past the Chevron into Azalea.
Okay. So you can see it in the footage, but it's not stopping at Chevron, it's driving by the Chevron and turning into Azalea Mobile Home Plaza.
Yes, sir.
Did you also collect surveillance footage, security footage from Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
I did.
From a number of different cameras, correct?
Yes, I believe there was 3.
And did that footage appear to show the Dodge Journey that you photographed entering and driving around in Azalea Mobile Home Plaza during the period of, say, I don't know, 1:15 in the morning to 1:20 something in the morning
Yes, sir.
on October 5th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
When did you go out and get that Azalea footage?
The same day.
All right, October 7th?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that Sergeant Coleman is your sergeant with the crime scene unit, forensics unit.
Yes, sir.
Was he present with you on the 7th when you got that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was he supervising the operations as the sergeant for the unit?
Yes, sir.
And did he see and participate in, did he see the footage that y'all were looking at and participate in its collection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometime after the 7th, when you'd gotten this footage from Azalea showing the defendant's car, did you realize that the timestamps for Azalea's cameras appear to be off?
Yes, sir.
Like incorrect?
Yes, sir.
And did you do anything to memorialize what the timestamp discrepancy actually was?
We returned back to the scene and used our phones we put our phones up to the live view and took pictures of it so we could get a real time compared to their time.
And is the idea there that the time on your phone is accurate?
Yes, sir.
And so you can compare the time showing on your phone to the time showing on the camera and figure out how far ahead or behind it is?
Yes, sir.
Right. And what was the time stamp discrepancy with the Azalea footage? How far ahead or behind the actual time was it?
I believe it was right around 80 minutes
Behind or ahead?
behind,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
On the 7th, when you went out to Azalea to collect the footage initially, did you take some photographs while you were out there?
Yes.
And when did you go back and do this deal with the phones to document the timestamp discrepancy?
On the
Would it refresh your memory to look at the photo card from that?
yes.
Do you see in front of you a document labeled States Exhibit 55?
Yes.
Feel free to look through that and tell me whether it refreshes your memory as to when you went out and memorialized the timestamp discrepancy.
The 9th.
9th of October 2022.
Yes.
Looking at States Exhibit 55, does it clearly, fairly and accurately depict Azalea as photographed by you on the 7th and as photographed by you on the 9th as well?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move this in States Exhibit 55.
Objection, Your Honor.
And may I publish, Your Honor? All right. States Exhibit 55 is up on the screen, specifically the first image in that exhibit. Is this your photo card from the 7th?
Yes, sir.
And this is the day you initially collected the footage?
Yes, sir.
Now, slide 2, what is this here? What are we looking at?
These are the community dumpsters in Azalea Mobile Home Park.
All right, and what is that we see on the far right side of the frame?
There's a white Jeep
All right,
belonging to one of the staff members of Azalea.
okay. And that is sitting right next to the standard dumpsters, right?
Yes, sir.
Moving to slide 3, where are we? First of all, where are we?
So we are, this building on my right is the Azalea main office, right as you enter the park. If you look in the distance, you can see the white Jeep from the previous photo.
I've zoomed in here. Is that the white car that we just saw in the last picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and off to the left of it, is this one of the dumpsters?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this picture, zooming back out, did you take this picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you standing right underneath the camera?
Yes.
All right, and that camera, is it affixed to
Kind of
the
a
side of the management?
It's
office?
yeah, I believe it's on a little patio covering.
Say again?
I believe it's on a patio covering.
Okay. And again, were you standing more or less right under it?
Yeah, my camera was right under it.
And was the goal of this photo kind of figure out what direction is this camera looking and what is the field of view going to show in terms of a car sitting at the dumpsters?
Yeah.
Okay. So we see, at least as you're standing there, you can see this car sitting at the dumpsters, but it is a ways off.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is this in the foreground here, this area that's bounded by this fence?
It's like a little maintenance area where they store, I guess, their machinery. It's in the property, the office property.
Moving on to slide 4, what are we looking at here?
This is a photo log for the 9th, when we return to get the comparison photos from the phone and the timestamp on the videos.
Now, how many cameras did you all collect footage from Azalea for, I don't know, the early morning hours of the 5th and the late night hours of the 4th? Do you remember how many cameras total?
I believe there was 3 cameras at Azalea.
Okay. And did each one of those 3 capture, at least seem to capture the Dodge journey that you photographed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to just talk to you about these next few pictures. Slide 5. Where are you as you take this picture?
So this one I'm inside the office, holding a cell phone here, and then had another officer hold their cell phone on the camera view from outside, and then you have the timestamp right above that.
Okay. What is this monitor here that you're looking at?
That's their computer monitor for inside the office.
And is that monitor showing you the current video feed from that camera that you were just standing under in the previous picture?
Yeah, it's the live view.
Okay. What is the time showing on your phone?
12:20.
Okay. And that's 20 minutes after noon, is that right?
Yes, sir.
On the 9th.
Yes, sir.
And it's the same for the officer standing outside holding a phone up to the camera?
Yes, sir.
Was your iPhone time working that day?
Yes, sir.
Has it ever not been working? That's a no?
No, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Now, this camera is showing, when we zoom in here, it looks like it's showing 10:59.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so is that where you're getting that these cameras were about 81 minutes behind, 80 to 81 minutes behind?
Yes, sir.
And that's because the difference between 10:59 and 12:20 is about 80 to 81 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
Now this next image, slide 6, is this you looking at the monitor for a different camera pointing a different direction?
Yeah, same monitor, just different camera.
Oh, same monitor, different camera?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does this camera that we're concerned with here in image 6, does this point out towards Ogeechee Road?
Yes, sir. That's Ogeechee Road, right past those U-Hauls.
Okay. And that's, you're indicating to like the top right corner of the picture?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can we see any part of the chevron in this image?
Yeah, if you look at my vehicle, the
Well,
chevron's right,
Which one's your vehicle?
the police truck
All right.
on the left side,
All right. And then where's the chevron in relation to that?
just past it.
Okay. Are those U-Hauls in the chevron parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did this camera have the exact same timestamp discrepancy
Yes, sir.
as the last one?
Yes, sir.
80 to 81 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Slide 7. Same monitor, different camera?
Yes, sir.
And does this one just point the other direction as the camera we were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did that camera have the same timestamp discrepancy as the other two?
Yes, sir.
Whole system has the same time, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Therefore, the time discrepancy is going to be the same on all 3.
Yes, sir.
One moment, please, Your Honor. just ask you this, did the cameras themselves appear to be working when you were out there collecting the footage?
They did.
Did you have any issue collecting the footage?
No, sir.
As we were looking at this image, image 6, we see a police truck out there and U-Hauls in the Chevron parking lot.
Yes, sir.
At that time, was there in fact a police truck out there and U-Hauls in the Chevron parking lot?
Yes, sir. That's a live view of what was going on right then.
Okay, so were these cameras accurately capturing what was actually happening in the real world?
Yes, sir.
And does the timestamp discrepancy have anything to do with the accuracy or reliability of the footage itself?
No, sir.
No further questions, Ron.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hilliard?
Thank you.
Mr. Hilliard, before you start, I don't want to take a full break, but if you need to if you feel the need to stand up and just kind of stretch it out, you can feel free to do that. I know you've been sitting for a long time. Or just stand up and shake it out a little bit. I'll show you what I do. I recognize you're sitting for a long time. Kind of change the channel. Get your blood flowing again. Sorry. All right. Okay. Mr. Hilliard.
Officer Schenker, I'm going to start where you left off because it just makes more sense to work back that way because that's where you were at. With regard to these, like State's Exhibit number 55 that we just discussed the 80-minute time discrepancy. Okay. Did you ever do any?
Just a moment. Mr. Schenker's.
Give me 1 second. I think it's me.
Okay.
Is that better? Thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. Schenker. Okay, so let's just start with the Azalea cams first. Okay, so on October 7th and October 9th, you noticed some sort of time discrepancy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you documented it, and that's what we just dealt with, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever inquiry or find out when the discrepancy began?
No, sir.
You were just sent out there to collect the footage then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you made no further inquiry other than just to note it?
I personally did not. I don't know if my sergeant or the other officer did.
And again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, just asking you what you did, okay? So you noted the discrepancy, but you didn't get to the bottom of it or find out when it started, correct? All right. So let's back up a little bit and go to State's Exhibit 11, which was the one you did prior to that one. So you, on October 6th, you got the Dodge Journey, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you photographed the Dodge Journey,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Did you do anything else other than that or just take photographs?
Photographed it. We did alternate light on the vehicle to see if there was any like fabrics or anything from the scene. We did do a couple swabs of the substance in the back, and we did blue star the vehicle.
Well, and that's why I'm asking is just based upon the testimony I heard, it seemed like it was just a bunch of pictures you were taking, but there was a lot more to it than that, wasn't there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many people were out there that day on October 6th, I guess, examining the vehicle?
Myself and Corporal Shiro.
Okay, so two of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you went through the vehicle and you noted the alcohol containers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you seize those?
Did I see those?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they were taken into evidence, correct?
No.
They weren't taken into evidence?
No.
Just photographed them?
Just photograph.
All right. Just curious, why not?
Didn't feel that they were pertinent to the case.
So you don't think it's pertinent to the case, you don't log it into evidence?
Well, if it's not evidence,
And who determines whether or not something's evidence?
I guess that would be me.
So you determined it wasn't evidence, so you didn't log it, you didn't test it, you didn't swab it, you didn't keep it, correct? All right. let's go on to the next picture. You had a picture of a natural light can in the back, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was back in the passenger seat. And did you seize that and take that into evidence?
No, sir.
And again, I guess for the same reason, you didn't consider it to be evidence?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, whenever someone drinks from a can or touches a can or does something like that, is it possible to have some sort of DNA contact or transference between it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you think that that might be relevant to testing to see who may have been or not been in the truck at that point in time?
It could be, but if they both had, or whoever had access to that vehicle, their DNA and prints would be all over the vehicle.
Okay. All right. But again, you didn't think it was evidence, didn't seize it, didn't test it, didn't do anything further with it, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the substance in the back of the vehicle, which was kind of weird, okay, admittedly, you did take that, though.
I took a sample of that.
And let me ask you this. You said it was some sort of kid cereal.
I believe, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, but it wasn't any biological material.
No.
Okay, it wasn't any sort of cleaning solvent or anything like that, was
No,
it?
sir.
Okay, but it was, from what you could tell, and I don't have any reason to think, you're wrong, it was some sort of kid cereal or breakfast cereal of some sort that was in the back.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were taking pictures of the inside of the van, I'm going to assume you looked throughout the entire thing.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever find any feces or blood or anything like that in it?
We did find a spot that reacted on the driver's side seat, but that was it.
Okay, and what was that?
Appeared to be blood. We just blue starred it, and it fluoresced. And it was just a little spot on the front driver's seat.
Okay, did you seize that or send it for further testing?
No, sir.
You didn't?
No, sir.
And again, just curious, why not?
Didn't believe at the time it was pertinent.
Now, with regards to the rest of the vehicle, did you find anything else of any substance in there? Of any relevance?
There was a spot in the back that we took swabs of and logged in. And there was a couple fibers from the back seat, or the back of the vehicle that we collected and logged in.
And what did you do with them once you swabbed them and collected them and logged them in?
That was all I did with them.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, if you look at number 15 from State's Exhibit 11, what was this orange thing and this white thing in the back of the plane?
Those are traffic vests, kind of like safety vests. And then the white paper was from the dentist, I believe it was.
Okay.
Paperwork.
And what's the little orange thing on the ground right there?
I believe that was another safety vest.
All right. And that was the extent of everything that you found or found relevant from the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's back up and go to State's Exhibit number 10. And actually, it might be easier to look at State's Exhibit number 9. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's do that because it's a better overview and the other ones are just a lot of pictures to thumb through. So you took a bunch of pictures of the house and the surrounding area, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So looking at State's Exhibit 9, and again, don't want to put words in your mouth, but from what my recollection was, there was a pool in the back, and there was a set of dining room doors and a set of living room doors that led out to the pool area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looked like, and again, not trying to put words in your mouth, just going from my recollection, that the living room doors opened into a play area,
Yes, sir.
and the dining room doors opened directly onto the patio area. Is that a fair and accurate assessment of what the pictures you took?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you got there, I guess it was on October 5th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you got there on October 5th, you were sent around to take all the pictures that you took in State's Exhibit 10, correct?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Dean asked you to discuss and go through what it took to go from the front door to, I guess, the living room door, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But based upon that, it's a much shorter trip to go from the front door to the dining room door, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's not nearly as circuitous, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I can't tell from the picture, so I'm going to have to ask you. The dining room door opens right out onto the patio, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The living room door opens into a play area, correct?
It's the same patio. It's just got a little gate. in
Right.
front of
And it
But
seems to me, again, not putting words in your mouth, but the play area seemed kind of cordoned off,
Yeah.
and the dining room doors didn't. It kind of opened straight into the pool area.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's much easier to get out through the dining room door onto the patio than the living room door, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you were there that day, were those doors open, closed? What were they?
All the doors were closed when I got there.
Okay. Were they unlocked?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So you didn't have any problem opening and closing, or the dining room doors, were they relatively easy to open and get through?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The living room doors, same thing. Were they relatively easy to open and get through?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have any difficulty getting through them?
No, sir.
Okay. And again, was there anything that indicated that the doors may have been kicked, smashed, broken in any way, shape, or form?
No, sir.
Okay. So they were operable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dean asked about the route, I guess, through the downstairs. It's kind of a fairly odd layout in the downstairs area. I think that's safe to say, correct?
Yes, sir.
But was the kitchen in use?
Yes, sir.
And it was usable, correct? Was the living room in use and usable?
Yes, sir.
The dining room in use and usable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the front area that we're talking about, where you first enter into the front door area, that front door area enters, what's the street that is directly in front of the front door?
Buckhalter.
So that's Buckhalter Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the dining room and the living room, they open towards the pool, but I assume that's more around back to where the driveway and the garage and all of that was.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, if I'm misstating it, or I'm just trying to understand it, but that seems to me that, and the area had a gate on it, if I'm not mistaken. I remember you taking a picture of a truck.
Yep.
So there's a gate, and the gate goes around to the back, correct?
Yes.
So wouldn't that indicate that the main entrance and egress to the house is through the back, not the front?
Sure.
Well, I mean, you know the layout better than I do, so.
I don't know what entrance they use, but yes.
Okay. So now, when you were taking all of these pictures, and you took a number of them, you took 475, right?
Something like that.
Somewhere there about, a lot.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not saying these are all them, but you took a lot. When you came across the pictures, you said it was vomit that was in the pack and play, correct?
I believed it was.
You believe it was. Did you seize it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you send it off for testing?
I did not detect it.
So you basically did your job, seized it, handed it off to the detectives, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But the one thing is you're sure it wasn't blood, correct?
I'm not sure.
Didn't look like it, did it?
It did not look like blood.
And not a trick question. You answered this question for Mr. Dean quite readily, so I'm not trying to trip you up, okay? So it was, but you believed it to be vomit, correct?
I did.
Okay. And you don't know how old it was or how long it had been there.
I don't.
Okay. Now, did you notice anything else of any significance in that front room? I noticed at least there was at least two other cribs, or I guess beds in there. Did you notice any urine, feces, vomit, diapers, things like that in the area as well?
I don't recall.
If you had noticed anything like that, would you have taken pictures of it and recorded it?
Yes, sir.
Did you take any pictures of it and record it?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So this was pretty much the extent of what you did in the case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you review you said you went and seized the camera footage from Azalea, if I'm not mistaken. So that was you that went out and picked it up,
Yes.
seized it, and then I guess you forwarded it to the detectives, correct?
Yes, when we put it on a computer at work.
All right. does that conclude your involvement in the case?
Pretty much yes.
So there's nothing else you did of any evidentiary or investigatory importance at this point. It's pretty much everything that we discussed and talked about here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Officer Schenck. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Just a moment. Turn to the state. Is there any redirect?
You were asked about blood in the car, and you mentioned something about his spot on the driver's seat fluorescing.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what you mean? Or blue star or something like that?
The blue star is a chemical we use to look for, it reacts to the hemoglobin in blood, and it will fluoresce blue. So we sprayed the whole vehicle with it. It's a liquid, and the only part that fluoresced was on the front driver's side seat.
Well, let's take it step by step. You spray the whole vehicle with this chemical, right?
Yes, sir.
Then what do you do? Do you next have to turn off the lights?
Yeah, it's got to be completely dark,
Okay.
or as dark as you can get it.
Again, step by step. Once you've turned off the lights, what do you do?
Then we spray the vehicle. We would spray each seat, the floorboard, and then see if there's a reaction. If there's no reaction, then we'll move on to another area, and then another area. And if we get a reaction, then we'll photograph it.
Okay. And then what does it mean for something to fluoresce or react on when you spray it with the blue star chemical?
It lights up blue.
Okay. Lights up blue?
Yeah.
Okay. In the dark?
Yes, sir.
It kind of glows a little bit?
Yes, sir.
First of all, this spot on the driver's seat that had this reaction, was it, before you turned the lights off and sprayed that chemical on it, did it appear to the naked eye to look like blood or not?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Just like a little spot?
Yeah.
And where in the driver's seat was it?
It would be pretty much right where you would sit.
Right where you would sit?
Yeah.
Like dead center in the driver's seat?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
And how big was it?
It was just a small, line.
Very small, right?
Yes, sir.
Like almost like a pinpoint or something?
A little bigger than a pinpoint, but not a lot.
Okay. And does the blue star reaction necessarily mean it's blood?
No, it's just a presumptive test.
Now, did you take pictures of that spot before you had turned the lights off and sprayed it with the blue star?
Yeah.
And did you take pictures of that spot with the lights off, glowing blue with the blue star chemical on
I
it?
did.
And did you make those images available to detectives?
I did.
And is it detectives who ultimately make the decision about what particular things in the case need follow-up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more. And just not to belabor the point, but that was one of those things that didn't need follow-up, correct?
I didn't believe it did.
That's all the questions I got. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Is there any reason not to excuse this witness?
There you go.
All right. You are excused, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a good time for a short comfort break unless you want to. Okay, I'm getting head shakes, yes. So again, we're going to take a short comfort break. You're going to remain here in the jury deliberation room. Don't discuss the case. Don't do any research in this short time. Don't expose yourself to any media or social media. All right? Let's take 15 minutes. We'll be back at 11.
All right, thanks for tuning into this live stream. Just to recap a bit of what we heard this morning, court started around 9:15 a.m. as the Leilani Simon trial continues. This is day 2. We started with testimony today. First on the stand was Corporal Philip Shanker with the Chatham County Police Department. He was on the stand for about 2 hours, and the prosecution went through a number of images with the corporal this morning from inside, outside the Simon home, as well as the Dodge Journey said to be used by Leilani. They also talked about images from the Azalea Mobile Park home, as well as surveillance video. The defense also questioned Shanker on those images, on some of those images and video, as well as asking why or if certain pieces of evidence were tested after being collected. Shanker ultimately explaining that he collects the evidence and then passes that off to detectives, and detectives make that decision on whether that evidence is further tested. So they are in a short break. Again, we are on a 30-minute delay. So make sure to stay tuned with us. As Judge Tammy requested, this live stream is on a 30-minute delay, and she mentioned that they would be back at 11. So you can expect to be back here around 11:30. So stay tuned. We'll be back.
of all, we're back on the record in SPCR 22-03364, the State of Georgia versus Leilani Marie Simon. We took a break, and we're about to resume now for testimony, continued testimony. Is the state ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
The defense is ready, Judge.
All right, please bring out the jurors.
Jurors entering.
Jurors inside.
All right, thank you. So, as the jurors are being seated, thank you very much. I welcome you back from our break. And just to confirm, no one's discussed the case or seen any news stories or media. All right. So we are going to begin now, and we'll turn to the state to call its next witness.
Marion Lemons.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury on the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, Detective. When you're ready, Mr. Dean.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your first and last name?
Yes, I'm Marion Lemons. It's M-A-R-I-A-N, Lemons, L-E-M-M-O-N-S.
And where are you from?
Richmond Hill.
And did you go to high school in Richmond Hill?
Did?
Are you a detective with the Chatham County Police Department?
Not currently.
Okay, but do you work for the Chatham County Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. When did you join the Chatham County Police Department?
Late 2018.
And can you describe your education leading up to joining the police department?
Yes. In May of 2018, I graduated from University of Georgia with a bachelor's in criminal justice.
And when did you go to the police academy?
Late 2018.
Okay. Had you already been hired on by the Chatham County Police Department at that point?
Yes.
And they sent you to the academy?
Yes.
And when did you finish the academy?
December of 2018.
And from that point, what did you begin doing for the Chatham County Police Department?
I did about a year and a half on patrol.
And after patrol, did you move into any specialized unit?
Yes, I went to the detectives unit.
And what do you all call the detectives unit formerly at Chatham County Police Department?
The Criminal Investigations Division, or CID.
I want to ask you just a couple questions about the organization of CID at this point, okay? Can you tell us about the organization and staffing of it? Who comprises the detectives unit or CID?
So in that division, there are several detectives who are general crimes detectives. We investigate everything. There's 2 sergeants who oversee us. There was a lieutenant at that time, and then a captain.
And how does CID become involved in any given case?
Typically, we are kind of like the follow-up unit. When a patrol officer goes out to a scene, they collect the initial information, and if it needs additional follow-up, it'll be sent over to the detectives unit. Or, like in this case, if something immediate and urgent is happening, a detective will respond out.
Now, As of October 2022, how long had you been with CID again?
About 2 years.
Okay. And what, if any, training had you gotten to that point, October of 2022, in the way of homicide investigations?
I have taken, I believe it was in 2021, I took the homicide investigations course with JIPSTIC, which is the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. It's kind of like the mother agency for law enforcement in Georgia.
Okay. And can you describe that course for us? How long was it?
It was 5 days, and it was at the center in Forsyth County.
Had
Or
you
city,
taken,
excuse me.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was in city, Forsyth City.
Okay. As of October 2022, had you taken any other pertinent courses at JIPSTIC?
At JIPSTIC, I also took Child First, which is a course kind of showing the best practices for interviewing children. And I've also taken interviews and interrogations, probably some other minor ones up to that point.
Can you describe what you mean by best practices for interviewing children through the Child First training that you mentioned?
Yeah, so interviewing children and adults is different. You want to be kind of broad with your questioning. Children are hyperactive too, so you want to make sure you can keep them on, track.
Now, this Child First child interview training, how did you end up going to that? Did you volunteer or were you voluntold, as they sometimes say?
Volunteer.
And why was that?
So, like I said, our unit's general crimes, but we do kind of specialize. At that time, I had an interest in working child crimes, so any training I could get on the subject I wanted to go to.
And as of 2020, October of 2020, did you have any collateral duties involving crimes against children?
In 2020?
As of October 2022, were you involved in the investigation of crimes against children?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us about that?
Yep. So at that point, I was a part of the Georgia Bureau of Investigations Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which mainly focuses on child exploitation. I also did a large number of child abuse and child molestation cases.
In your normal capacity as a detective with the Chatham County Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as of October 2022, you had investigated child abuse cases?
Yes,
And had you investigated child deaths?
I had.
And had you investigated homicides?
I have.
And had you investigated any child abductions?
No.
And why is that?
They very rarely happen, if ever.
Now, your current positions, what are you doing currently?
I'm currently at the Counter Narcotics team.
Okay. What is the counter narcotics team?
It is a joint task force in Chatham. It's a collection of different law enforcement officers from different agencies in the area investigating narcotics.
And how long have you been with the counter narcotics team?
About 10 months.
Do you guys call that CNT?
We do.
Is that why when I asked you at the outset, are you a detective with the Chatham County Police Department, you said no?
Yes.
Okay, so you're tasked out to CNT,
Yes.
but you still get paid
Still in.
by,
Yes.
by Chatham County Police?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a task force officer with any other task forces other than the counter narcotics team?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes. Beginning last year, I was a task force officer with the Federal Bureau of Investigations Child Crime Unit.
And are you still on that task force?
I am.
And how did you get involved in that?
So I had expressed my interest in working those kind of crimes, and I had worked jointly with the local FBI office on several cases, and I was asked to come over.
Now, with that background, I want to ask you about October 5th, okay? And I first want to ask you about the scene. Did you respond to 535 Buckhalter Road?
I did.
On October 5th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. I think we heard one witness say that you may have been the first detective for CID present on the scene. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. Who was there from CID before you?
Detective Wilkins and Detective Noble.
Okay. And about what time of day did you arrive? Best of your recollection.
I believe it was after 12.
Okay. So when you got there, I'd like to ask you some questions to just kind of set the scene.
Yep.
Who was there and what was going on?
So by the time I got there, Both Detective Wilkins and Noble were there. Our forensics team had the drone up, and they were beginning kind of a grid search with patrol officers, and we had several outside agencies coming to assist in the grid search.
Outside agencies, who are we talking about?
Yeah, we had a bloodhound, I believe, from Beaufort or maybe Liberty County out there that was trying to track. We had mounted patrol from Savannah was out there. Our Marine Patrol unit was out there, and I believe the sheriff's office as well.
Mounted patrol, meaning horse
Horses,
patrol?
yes,
All hands on deck.
yes.
Did you yourself ever enter the residence during your period of time on scene?
Yes.
And how did that come about?
I asked Sergeant Stewart to kind of give me a layout where everyone was staying, what the house looked like, since he was already familiar with it.
Okay. And did you go in, where did you go in, and what did you look at?
I went through the front door into the main living area for the family and looked at where Quentin's playpen was.
And what did you make of the playpen when you looked at it? Any observations that you remember?
It was covered in stains, specifically, a large one on the pillow.
Okay. And what did that stain to you appear to be?
Vomit.
And did it smell like vomit to you?
Yes, immediately when I walked through the front door, I smelled vomit.
Okay. One moment, please. I'd like to pull up a picture for you. Now, this is image 30 from State's Exhibit 10. Is this the pack and play that you're describing, looking at?
Yes.
You said it was covered in stains. Can you point us to any of those in this image?
So, there's some on the lip right here that I could see, and then on the actual bedding, there were several stains.
Okay. So all this stuff around the edge there, did that appear to you to just be kind of general grime and dirtiness?
Yes.
Did it appear to you to be blood?
No, I was thinking more like Cheeto fingers and the kid touching the side.
Okay. As someone who was actually in the room and looked at it, that's what it looked like to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is image 32 from State's Exhibit 10. And Officer Schenker, I think, said it appears redder on the screen than it appeared in the residence. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Your Honor, may I publish the paper version for the jury just by kind of getting a little black and white here?
Yes.
And actually, pass that around. Just to be clear, did this substance appear to you to be blood?
No.
You said it looked like vomit?
Smelled like vomit, yeah.
Now, I would like to play for you a brief portion of what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 2 and identified as Sergeant Bobby Stewart's body-worn camera footage. Was your observation of the pack and play captured on his body-worn camera?
It was.
And did you make any statements while looking at it, at the pack and play, about what it smelled like?
Yes, I immediately said it smelled like vomit.
Smelled like vomit? I'm trying to get just right to the right spot here.
Is that the exhibit? Is that the exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, you can hand that back to the state's table.
Okay. It's not mine anymore, John. It belongs to the clerk, so I'll bring it back up.
All right, thank you.
All right. This is State's Exhibit 2, correct?
I'm not sure on the number, but I do remember seeing it.
Okay. In any case, what's the timestamp at the top right corner?
It is 12/31/20.
All right, what are we going to hear you say in this bit that we're going to play?
That it smells like vomit.
I can't stand the smell, so I don't understand that. They got them on the back porch, they're not on the house.
It smells like vomit.
All right, I've stopped the playback at 12:31:50 on the timestamp in the top right corner of State's Exhibit 2. Did you see anything that looked like blood in the residence that night?
No.
Now, in State's Exhibit 3, slide 27. What time are we at here?
This is 12:43:12.
And is that you on the far right?
It is.
And who are you talking to here?
I'm talking to Captain Wright, who's in the green shirt with the investigations unit, Captain Fandrich, Lieutenant Thompson, and Lieutenant Foster.
And what is going on at this time?
I'm informing them of our game plan, which was to move Daniel Youngkin, Paul Simon, and Leilani Simon to our main precinct for interviews.
Okay. And did that happen shortly after this exchange?
It did.
Okay. How was that arranged logistically?
Some of the patrol officers on scene drove the adults over.
And did they all agree to go in?
They did.
Now, where did you all go? I know you've mentioned it by some kind of shorthand.
Yep.
The precinct or something like that. But can you describe in a little more detail where this place is and what it is?
It's the Chatham County Police Headquarters on Chatham Parkway at 295 Police Memorial.
And why did you all want to go there?
So we had people showing up on scene, just more patrol officers, more search parties, and then some of the family members were also showing up, and we wanted to take the people that were living at the residence at the time that this occurred and get thorough interviews with each one of them.
Now, before we leave the scene, I want to ask you about what happened to the pillow and pillowcase and the pack and play that we were just looking at. I believe Officer Shanker testified that that was taken into evidence.
Yes.
And was the entire pack and play taken as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was that pillow and pillowcase and pack and play put into the property room or evidence room at the Chatham County Police Department?
It was.
And did you eventually sign it out?
I did.
And did you give it to FBI agent Savannah Solomon?
Yes.
And was that so that she could send it to the FBI lab for potential forensic analysis?
Yes, it had to be shipped to Quantico, Virginia.
Okay. And you were the one that signed it out and gave it to her?
I believe it was me, yes.
Now, how many interview rooms did you all have operational at the Chatham County Police Department at this time, October 5th?
So there's only one room that's set up for audio and visual recording.
And how is that room set up for audio and visual recording?
So there's a metal desk. I think it was metal at that time. There's a desk in the middle, and then several cameras that are pointing towards one specific wall with whoever you're interviewing sits against.
Now, is the entirety of the precinct that you're describing open to the public? Like if somebody off the street walks in and wants to walk around, can they access every part of the precinct?
No, they can't.
Can you describe what you mean?
Yeah, so that precinct shares a building with the tag office. And once you get to the police side of it, there's locked doors with the police insignia on front. You can't get past those unless you have a key card. And then specifically where our interview room is, there's an additional set of locked doors you have to get through.
Now, past those locked doors into the police side, where the interview room is, are there sensitive areas in there?
Yes.
Can you describe what those are?
Well, we have patrol officer offices for all of the command staff is there as well. Forensics is in there. We have our secured property room and records and dispatch.
Okay. So when a normal citizen is back there, is it routine for them to be chaperoned or monitored by a police officer at all times?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you arrived, was the defendant already there?
To the precinct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything that you did between leaving the scene and getting to the precinct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that why she was already there when you got there?
Yes.
Okay. What was it that you did between leaving the scene, 535 Buckhalter, and going to the precinct?
So I was told that there was a older child, I believe he was around 3 years old, Zane, and I wanted to speak with him as well as some family members.
And where was he?
Zane had been brought over to the babysitter, Michelle's residence by that time.
And where is that in relation to this house, 535 Buckhalter?
It's across the street about a block away.
Okay. Did you walk there or drive?
I think I just walked.
Okay. Did you make contact with Zane there?
I did.
And his last name is?
Wharton.
Did you attempt to talk to him?
I did.
Interview him?
Yes.
Can you tell us how that went?
It was
First of all, what were you trying to ask him?
just if he knew where Quentin was. I think I asked if he knew where Quentin likes to hide. I don't know if anything happened last night.
Okay. And was that interview productive in any way?
No.
Can you describe what you mean?
Zane was showing me how fast he could run at that time, so his focus was not on me. And it was hard to get him to acknowledge me, not only to answer my questions, but to just acknowledge my existence.
Okay. So is it fair to say that the interview or attempted interview with Zane was kind of a bust?
It was.
And again, how old was he at the time?
At 3.
Okay. But you tried.
I did.
And again, you have specific training to interview children.
Yes,
And it just did not work.
it did not.
Now, at the scene, we saw an image of the public information officer in Sergeant Stewart's body-worn camera slides. What's her name?
Betsy Nolan.
Okay. And why was she there?
So anytime there's a critical incident, Ms. Nolan will usually do some sort of press release, or she'll respond to any media requests for us.
Okay. And did media show up to the scene that day at some point?
They did.
Okay. And they had to be kind of held off to the ends of the street to keep the scene secure?
Yeah, at that point, we would have had a grid search in that entire area, so we needed the media to go somewhere specific instead of responding to the scene itself.
Okay. Is it normal for the public information officer to come out to deal with them?
Yes,
Because they want to know what's going on.
yes.
And she's the one that's responsible for giving a statement from the police department to the media.
Yeah, and then relaying any information about what the media needs to put out. At this case, it was a missing child, so she needed them to put out, has anyone seen this child?
Anything unusual or nefarious about Betsy Nolan, the PIO, having been out there at
No.
this scene? Okay. All right. So when you get to the precinct for these interviews, Daniel, Paul, and Leilani are already there, right?
Yes.
Okay. And where were they, the three of them?
When I got there, Daniel was in our main interview room. Leilani was in a spare room that we also used as a lactation or nursing room, and then Paul was in a conference room.
Why were they all in separate rooms?
Because we needed to get their statement individually without any other influence.
And were they transported there separately in the first place?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Who interviewed whom?
Yeah, so at that point, we had Agent Snyder's team had joined us. So we had a FBI agent and a detective paired off. So Agent Brad Snyder and I interviewed Leilani. Agent Solomon, Savannah Solomon, and Detective Noble interviewed Daniel Youngkin. And then Paul Simon was interviewed by Special Agent Burns and Detective Wilkins.
Okay. I want to ask you kind of a technical question about the indictment here. There are a number of false statement charges in the indictment.
Yes.
Have you reviewed it?
I have.
And it is an element of the false statements offense in Georgia that the matter that the person was being questioned about was within the jurisdiction of the Chatham County Police Department to investigate, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it within the jurisdiction of the Chatham County Police Department to investigate the disappearance of a child who lives in Chatham County?
Yes.
Thank you. So you have these local and federal teams, and you said you were paired up with Special Agent Snyder.
Yes.
And what was the first thing that y'all did?
So Agent Snyder and I had not spoken to Leilani at that point. We wanted to hear it from her, what had happened in the last 24 hours.
And did you conduct an interview with her at that point, sometime shortly after your arrival?
We did.
And where was that interview conducted?
In the lactation/spare room.
And who all was there?
Myself, Leilani, and Agent Snyder.
And was that interview recorded?
It was,
How was it recorded?
I recorded it on my cell phone.
Okay. How was your cell phone positioned during this
I,
interview?
yeah, I did a video recording and kind of just set it down on the table, and the camera angle is facing up at the ceiling tiles.
Now, what was the goal of this initial interview? What were y'all looking for?
To hear it from her, what had happened in the last 24 hours.
Okay. And did you ask her for an account of her day on October 4th and her night on October 4th and the early morning hours of October 5th?
Yes,
And did she give that to you?
she did.
To the best of your recollection, I know I'm asking you to kind of summarize a lot, but what was that account?
So she described getting her wisdom teeth pulled, returning home with Daniel, eventually getting the kids, getting them, together that night. She talked about laying down to sleep that night. Her tooth started hurting, so she left to get Orajel.
And what time was she saying that Orajel trip was at?
Around 1.
And where was she saying that she had gone to get that Orajel?
To the Chevron gas station.
And where is the Chevron gas station that she was referring to?
I believe it's 4800 Ogeechee Road.
Is it the one that we were looking at in the pictures with Officer Schenker?
Yes,
The one right next to the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
yes.
And who was she saying that she had gotten Orajel from?
Her former coworker, Misty.
Now, you've seen the the statement the recorded statement that Lieutenant Foster got from her on scene?
Yes.
Was her story to you about this Oragel trip that you're talking about, her providing in the lactation room initially, was it substantially the same as what she had told him on scene?
Yes.
Now, in this this first interview in the lactation room, did she mention anything about a trip to her drug dealer earlier in the night?
No.
Was she asked about her brother Paul's whereabouts through the night?
Yes.
And as best you can remember, what did she say?
I believe she described him returning home that night from work and maybe stopping in to say hello and then going upstairs to his room for the remainder of the night.
Was she asked about Danny's, her boyfriend Danny's whereabouts and activity through the night, say from, 11 p.m. on or something like that?
Yes.
And what did she say about that, as best you remember?
That he was in bed. I believe she said they were watching a movie
Okay. Well, all night or at what point in time?
before they went to sleep,
Okay.
around 12:30.
And was she putting him in bed asleep after that point?
Yes.
Was she asked about when Quentin went to bed and where?
Yes.
Okay. And what did she say about that?
That around 10:30 she'd put him in his pack and play for the night. He took about 40 minutes kind of doing a babbling, crying until he finally fell asleep.
Was she asked about any drug use
She
that
was.
she might have engaged in that night?
Yes.
And what did she have to say about that?
I believe at that point she said that she had smoked weed.
Did she mention any other drugs?
No.
Okay. Do you see in front of you, first of all, a disc marked as States Exhibit 12?
Yes.
What is that?
It is the 911 call from the communication center.
Is this something that you eventually obtained and incorporated into your case file?
Yes.
And does that include a certificate of authenticity from the 911 communication center?
It does.
Your Honor, I would move this in as States Exhibit 12.
Objection, Judge.
Okay, it is admitted.
All right, so this is the disc containing the audio of the 911 call that kicked this whole investigation off, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to publish a portion of this recording at this time.
All right, please proceed.
And I'm going to play from the very beginning to about 45 seconds in.
9:38:37 seconds, October 5, 2022. What was your emergency?
Yeah, I need to come 535 Buckhalter Road. We believe it's from kidnapping.
535 Bullhalter?
Yes.
You said someone's been kidnapped?
Yeah, we.
Your 1-year-old son?
All right, so I've stopped the playback at 45 seconds in. That file's a few minutes longer, correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that the remainder of that is mostly Daniel Youngkin talking?
Yes.
And is that the male voice that we heard on there as well?
It is.
And
Quentin Simon.
At some point during the investigation, did you learn Quentin Simon's birthday?
I did.
And what was it?
It's 1/8/21.
1/8/21. So would that put him at 20 months old on October 4th, 5th of 2022?
Yes.
So that's the initial statement that gets the police involved to begin with from the defendant, correct?
Yes.
And what time was that call made? Did you catch it?
I believe it was 9 and 9:40.
You want me to play it again?
Yes.
Nine 38:37 seconds, October 5, 2000.
All right, what time was that call?
9:38
Okay.
a.m.
All right, so let's go back to the lactation room and your first interview. You mentioned you recorded that on your phone.
Yes.
Is that the only interview you conducted of the defendant on that day?
No.
All right. Do you see in front of you an envelope containing a thumb drive, the envelope being marked as State's Exhibit 13?
Yes. Yes.
Now, broadly speaking, what's on this thumb drive?
It was the October 5th interviews of Leilani Simon.
Okay. Do those recordings, they're video recordings, correct?
Yes.
From the lactation room on your phone, right?
Yes.
And then later from the interview room?
Yes.
Okay. Do those recordings fairly and accurately depict those interviews?
They do.
Now, have those ones been altered or modified in any way?
They've been redacted to comply with the court's orders.
Okay, so some portions have been taken out?
Yes.
Okay. All right. At this point, I would like to publish what is on that. Well, let me offer it. I'd like to introduce that, Your Honor, as State's Exhibit 13.
No objection, subject to the redactions, Judge. So,
Exhibit 13 is admitted subject to the redactions.
All right. I'd like to now publish what is on this thumb drive as lactation room first video. Would that be okay, Your Honor?
Yes.
And actually, as I open it up, I realize that this is a 28-minute video, and it is 11:45. Would the court like me to proceed or not?
All right, I'm going to hear from the jury and get a consensus. The next video is close to 30 minutes long. We can play that now, or we can hold it until after lunch. Okay, the general consensus is head yeses, and we can move on. So let's go ahead and hear that video, see that video.
My name is Brad Snyder. I work with the FBI. We've worked together a lot. We'll chat and use anytime they can to respond to something like this. They find that that's the FBI helping out with this. I understand.
That's why he's here.
I understand. We're going to do everything.
I'm Detective Lemons. I haven't met you yet. I wasn't at the scene earlier, but I just wanted to come here and talk and get some more information too, okay? Can you spell your name for us?
It's Leilani.
L-A-N-I?
Just one more time, I'm sorry.
Leilani.
And what's your last name?
Simon.
Two M's or just one? What's your date of birth?
11/30/99.
So right now, again, we're sorry for everything you're having. We can't imagine the emotion that you're feeling right now. But as difficult as it is, just once you kind of think back the last 24 hours and just kind of give me, what you've been through. 24 hours would be this time yesterday. So from about 1 o'clock yesterday. Just gonna tell me your.
dentist getting my wisdom tooth pulled.
Okay.
About this time yesterday.
Did you have your son with you?
No, I let a babysitter to go went to work and I left because of the amount of pain that I had. So I just went there and I had them keep the kids.
So where are you working right now?
Eclipse IA in Port Whitworth.
Eclipse, what type of work is that?
Warehouse.
Warehouse.
Loading. And all that stuff. Or whatever. So I called the babysitter and I stayed hold a little bit longer. All the kids. She had all 3 of them. Because I was with me. And I was hurting. I wanted to go home and nap.
Did they give you any sort of hydrocodone or anything for the pain?
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
800 milligram. I went to spend $15 on 800 milligram ibuprofen. That's all I went. So I went home. I took a nap. We came
About
out
what
a
time do
little
you
bit.
think that was?
We officially got about 2, a little bit after 2. I had about an hour and a half nap before we got up and got things going to go pick up the kids. I got big spaghetti before we picked them up. That's still in the fridge at the house. We went and picked them up and gave them all a bath. We had food. I sent Danny out to Red Box to get a movie for the kids and all of them to watch tonight. So that's there too. And I put them down to bed and Quinn he's a talker. He doesn't cry when he's tired. He just talks, babbles. So he lays there and talks to himself. It takes him about 40 minutes to fall asleep. He's over there, blah, 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 blah. However long it is. He probably fell asleep. It was probably almost 2:30. When he finished, baths, dinner, cleaning up, all that stuff was done for about 9:30, a little bit of TV time, and then, bed. We went to bed. Oh, my mouth was really bothering me about almost 1 in the morning. So I called Circle K to see if they had orange out. No. So I got in contact with another one of my friends named Misty that I used to work with. He has a lot of mouth problems, and asked her if she had any orange out. I met her up there at the Chevron. And about called her. And got back and went back home. Y'all, it's gone 12 minutes. I got it for my Life 360. I can show y'all right around everything that's on the left bills I get back. Got home, had my mouth, checked on all the kids again. They were all good.
What time was that again?
It was 1:25. I looked at my app when they asked me to. Now I got home. Because I was going 12 minutes. Literally what it showed. And I go there, put it in. I checked the kids. Everybody's good as sky. She fell asleep on the couch. Quentin knocked out like this in his playpen and was able to tap on his chest and I wasn't touching. And so I went to bed. I'll be there about 9. Almost 9. And I was supposed to go to work, but because of this, I was just going to stay home today. Which is why none of the kids got the babysitters. So, my front door was partially open, but I was like, not wide open. The door's never open unless somebody is up awake normally, ever. And I get up and I go shut it, not even thinking nothing about it. I just got out of bed, the door's open, let me shut the door, and I turn around and check on the kids. This guy's there. Zane's there. Quinn's not there. So I searched the house, under the bed, behind the couches, in the closets, in the cabinets, outside, everywhere. The pool, everything. Couldn't find them. I called Gary. Did you take him to the babysitters just to give me an easier day or something? Did you, forget to tell me, or did you tell me and I not remember? He's like, no, he was there. He was sleeping in the playroom this morning. I was like, well, he's not there. So then I called the cops and I called Michelle, which is the babysitter, to try to help me look a little bit farther out. Because I got 2 kids at the house and my brother was asleep. And I had 2 kids and it was just me searching and screaming and I couldn't find anything at all. I couldn't even find this coffee hat. When I went to bed.
You couldn't find his
Couldn't find his cup.
cup?
Cup. And then he had a little Mickey Mouse. Something,
ever, describe me his bed. Is it like a crib, a playpen? A playpen.
We did playpen for him.
Okay. Has he ever gotten out of the playpen before on his own? So he doesn't.
He cannot get up on his own. The boy can't even get his foot up there if he tried.
So he can't step on something. There's nothing in the crib.
Nothing in the crib but a pillow and a blanket. And that's the only thing he had. The only time that he's ever managed to get out of it was with my oldest son's help. He'd come and grab the side of the playpen and look quick at the time out. No matter what time out in front of my oldest, then he'd come and grab that same and snatch it down and get his brother on out. But the playpen's always knocked over when that happens. Everything's out of it. The part that you lay on the, whatever, out of it. Everything's out of it. Nothing was flipped over. Nothing was missed. Nothing at all.
And you have full custody appointment?
No, my mother does.
Okay.
I found myself in a very hard situation where my boyfriend at the time left me and I didn't have a job and my car broke down when we didn't have transportation. So I voluntarily signed over in temporary custody to my mother until I could get up on my feet. I've just now recently got to where at the end of this month we were supposed to be going to put money down on my house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for all of us. So after that happened, we were going to begin the process of giving me back the custody and legal rights.
And your mom lives with you?
That's her house that we were at. Since she has temporary custody, I wanted to make sure, we would all want to make sure that the kids they were supposed to be legally by the book, because I could have had to move up to North Carolina, even though it's a little 2-bedroom apartment. I could have done that after, but I was homeless for 2 months before I even got that. So, I'm gonna be okay, y'all.
I know.
He's so little, he's so sweet. He's so sweet.
We can't imagine what you're going through, and I wish I had some tissue. Do you have any tissue right here? Is that any tissue?
No, I got cigarettes that I don't need and clothes.
Okay.
And I broke it.
What is that?
I broke it.
Ibuprofen.
The I broke it.
We're going to, you can rest assured, that everybody working this is going to do everything feasibly possible to help find your son. Okay?
My father and I haven't been on good terms since before I even found out I was pregnant. We stopped talking, and 3 weeks later I found out I was pregnant. So,
What is his name?
The father's name is Henry Moss.
Okay.
He goes by Bubba.
Okay.
And,
When was the last time you saw him?
I haven't seen him in over a year.
Does he know where you live?
He does. Because I try not to be like every mother out there. So when I moved back down here and I knew that it was substantially closer to where he stayed at, I was just like, well, this is where I'm at. If you want to see your son, let me know. Here's his address. Or if all he was trying to do was use quitting as an excuse to get in my pants. So I stopped denying him to visit his son.
When did you do that?
4 months, 5 months ago.
4 or 5 months ago.
Started denying him. Started ignoring him. Just blocked him on everything. The Facebook that I have tried to pull up now is the new one that he recently sent me a friend request with, so I can see if I try to get in contact with him, but I'm blocked on that. So I have no contacts, I have no numbers.
Are those still on your phone?
Huh?
Are those messages still on your phone, maybe?
I don't know if it's still on that phone. I have multiple different phones. I have like 3 Facebooks.
Yeah. Do you have your phones here?
They're.
Okay. Do you mind if we get the password to your phone so we can look it up?
Okay. Yeah, you can break it up. I try to pull it up.
Here. Is it a drawing or is it just numbers?
Oh, it's 1864.
1864?
1864.
I don't know about listeners because that phone, like I said, it's a phone that I use for my mother after my mom broke. I already have to make new accounts, so I'm not too sure if it's on that account.
Gotcha.
Or if it's on the other account. But I know when I try to search him up today to try to show the officers or whatever, because one of the last messages I remember getting it from him said, "You do not deserve to have Quentin. I'm going to get a paternity test and I'm going to take my And then today was the first time that my babysitter, when I heard her talk.
I paused it at 11 minutes and 54 seconds in. I just want to ask you some questions about what the defendant just said there. Can you just sort of recap for us what she was saying about these supposed Facebook messages from Quentin's father, Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
Yeah, she was describing Henry Moss's Facebook account that they had been communicating, and that he had been saying that he was going to take Quentin after he gets a paternity test.
And she was saying those messages had been sent when in relation to this interview?
I believe those specific ones she said a few weeks prior.
Okay. Now, did you look in her phone that day?
I did.
And were you able to see any messages along those lines in her Facebook?
No.
Was she able to pull them up and show them to you?
No.
Did you at some point obtain a search warrant for her Facebook records or a portion thereof?
Yes.
And did you send that to Facebook?
I did.
And did they send you some information in response?
They did.
Some of her Facebook records?
Yes.
Were you able to find those messages that she's describing in the Facebook records that you got back?
No.
And I'll resume playback at 11 minutes, 54 seconds where I left off, Your Honor.
Okay.
Call saying that she's seen cars sitting in front of my house quite a few bit recently. And I looked at her and said, why didn't you tell me about that? I told your mother, but she didn't tell me I'm the one here.
Yeah.
I could have been more cautious if I felt like somebody was watching the house.
Now, every question that we ask, I promise you, you're going to think that, we're intruding on your privacy, but I can assure you, every question that we ask has a purpose to try to figure out, every feasible possible angle there is to this case. So with that, we're not looking to get you in trouble for past drug use, but it's important.
Listen,
Okay.
hey, whatever medicine they jacked up in my mouth yesterday.
So do you owe any debts to anybody? Do you have anybody that you...
I don't owe money to nobody.
No drugs?
No, I do not borrow. I do not front. I don't do anything like that. I don't owe anybody any money at all.
How much marijuana? How frequently would you say you use marijuana?
Once a night.
Once a night?
Twice a night before I go to bed. Normally, the kids are asleep. Everything's handled. Dishes, food, kitchen. Time for my to go to sleep. I have severe anxiety.
And where do you get the marijuana from? Do you purchase it yourself, or do you get it through...
I purchase it myself. There's been times that I've gone to the dispensaries and I've done CBD, actual, and that's what I've been doing a lot lately. I think the last time I bought, actually, off the street, was probably 3 weeks ago, and it was within my days. Because I've been trying to use the dispensaries around the house.
So nobody has any sort of
Debt.
motives to do any harm to you, to get back at you because you owe them money. But going back to your time in North Carolina, there's nobody that would want to cause harm to you or to your family that you can think of. Any person that you got sideways with when you were running with the wrong crowd? Is there nobody like that at all?
No. I know Daniel's the one from North Carolina. I moved up there to be with him. Daniel's the one from North Carolina. I know that I have caught him cheating multiple times. I have been in contact with his exes before because of it. Or whatever. And I might be pulling messages where, his ex was pretty much, saying that, send him on back home. I miss my best friend. It's a long paragraph. I can't really tell you, but I told Cheryl, I was like, he's a good man, he's a good husband, he's a good father, and you don't miss out, is what I told her. So any type of altercations between me and somebody else out there would have been over him and probably towards another woman. But at that time, I didn't never have my kids touch him. I never had my kids touch him. Nobody even knew him. I didn't even know what they looked like. So, I'm confused.
And who all lives in the house that's your mother's? Who lives there? I understand the kids, but adults.
Paul.
Paul? Who is Paul?
This is my little brother.
That's your brother. Who's the gentleman that was sitting here with you? Okay.
And then Daniel and me.
And Daniel is...
My fiance. And then, my stepdad and my mom. And I said, 3 dogs.
Okay.
And the kids.
Tell me about Paul. What does Paul do?
I just got a job with me at the warehouse. He's honestly studying to take his ASVAB to go to the military. Whatever. I haven't had much communication with my brother over the past year. He went down different roads, I went down different roads. Me and my mom were all on and off. So, like, it's myself and the family, which is kind of where North Carolina came involved. He just finished his GED. He works 2 to 10 shifts.
So he goes in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, comes home at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, so, like, if he's leaving, normally it's like 1:20 when he leaves. And by the time he gets home, it's about 10:30.
Is he driving himself there?
Yeah, he drives a white Silverado at the house. Which is my stepdad's truck. My brother just got permission to use it. I'm supposed to be taking him to go pick up his truck from Midway sometimes in a week.
Is that car at the house now?
Yes.
Okay.
The Silverado's at the house, and my Dodge is at the house.
And Paul was at the house when Quentin was missing?
Yeah, because I got up and I started yelling and screaming for anybody, and everybody, please just come help me. I couldn't find them.
Where was he?
My brother was upstairs in his room. I went to there and started yelling at him, please come help me, I can't find Quentin. I think one of the very first things I said to him was just, please tell me for some weird reason you got him upstairs. He got up, he came down there to try to help.
Is Quentin a kid that, I know you mentioned he talks himself to sleep, but does he cry? Does he cry himself to sleep ever?
And he's like I can't even explain it. He just lays there babbling. He goes on and on and on. Like, most of the time it's not even words. And if it is, it's Mama, eat, tea, play.
What kind of relationship does Paul have with Quentin?
They're playful. When Paul gets home, if I need help, he is very helpful with the kids. If I need him to watch the kids while I'm cooking, if I need him, anything like that, cleaning wise, or he'll just go in there and lay on the floor and play with them, with the kids, and with the dog and the kids and toys. That's normally it though. Maybe hang out and play an hour more a day. Because normally I kind of try to keep all my kids inside the house. I was on, so I'm not running through the house trying to clean up everything all day long.
Any reason at all for Paul to leave the house after he got home? At what time? He gets off work at 10, so what time does he normally get home?
At 10:30, and then he gives his friend a ride home, but it's like 11.
So what time did he get home last night?
10:40.
10:40. Do you know whether he left the house after 10:40?
He ain't got nowhere.
So from 10:40 until you went and woke him up at about 9 o'clock.
He was upstairs in his room.
And no indication that he left. You didn't hear the door open. Nothing.
No door opening. The truck didn't even look like it was moved in the slightest way at all.
So from your perspective, 100% Paul was at the house from 10:40 until you woke him up this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What was Paul's initial reaction when you went up and said, hey, Quentin's missing? And you were
And he jumped up and kind of looked like freaking out. He was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean if it's missing? I was like, he's missing. I can't find him. Come help me. And then I started running back down the stairs. And opening closets, because I know there's closets and everything. Under the sinks, everything. And Paul was out there running and chasing and looking. And finally looked at him. I was like, call Mom.
So the first phone call that went out, was that a phone call that Paul made or a call that you made?
The first phone call that went out was the one that I made to Danny. When I got up and I shut the door and I went and checked on the kids and I noticed that he wasn't there. That was the very first phone call that went out about Quentin being gone. The second one would have been to Michelle or whatever. And when she said that she didn't see anybody coming to the house and nobody picked him up, didn't see nothing like that. And then she came over and tried to help look as well. And she was like, you want to check the closets again? I was like, we're just going to call the cops. We're going to call the cops. Call the cops. The cops were called by 9:30.
And you made that call to 911?
Yes. I'm going to call 911.
Okay. Did Danny make any calls?
I think he was trying to, but something was going on with his phone. Which is why I was the one who ended up making the call.
And let's talk about Danny. So how long have you and Danny been dating? Or have you been engaged?
We've been together for almost 2 years, engaged for the past year. So, need to start taking the kids to babysitters about 5:30. Because normally I'm like, I was sleeping another 10 minutes. Because I said, "Mommy, I get dressed." Then we go to work. We get off.
Y'all ride to work together.
Yes, we work the same shift, 6 to 2. 6 a.m. to 2:30.
Today just happened to be your day off.
Today just happened to be, I got my license was pulled yesterday and I wasn't going to work. So, about that, when he gets off, we can't leave the warehouse at all once we get there. So there's no going out for summer for lunch or nothing like that. So when he gets off, we normally stop by the convenience store or gas station or whatever, something to drink, snacks, sometimes snacks for the kids or dinner. And then we go straight from there to picking up the kids. We pick up the kids and we go home. Daddy normally cooks dinner while I'm getting the kids adjusted from getting home. So when I take them inside.
Last night, did he cook the spaghetti last night? Or
No, I cooked the spaghetti last night because no seasoning.
No seasoning.
No seasoning.
So when Danny got home from work last night, at what time?
4:30? No, it was, no. We left work together yesterday. For my wisdom tooth, because I knew I wasn't gonna leave the drive. They were gonna inject me or whatever. So we were home early yesterday. We didn't pick up the kids until 4:30 because I wanted to know. But because getting before we were there.
What did y'all do when you got from the time you got home until 4:30? Or just hanging out, the two of you at the house?
We did like clean up laundry, setting the meat up for us. We got cutting up the sausages and mushrooms or whatever.
And y'all were there at the house together?
Yeah, we were there together the whole time. I think he went up to the store once for a Peter. That was it.
What time would that have been?
Probably 3:45, right before we had the kids.
And then, did he leave the house at any other time between, once you went to get the kids, you came home, you ate the spaghetti, did Danny leave between that time and 5:45 this morning? Never at all. He was at the house the
He was
entire
at the
time.
house the entire time.
How do you know that?
He was on bed.
He was beside you.
He was on bed.
Y'all sleep in the same bed?
We sleep in the same bed. We only have one side of the house. So we got the kitchen that we can only really use to cook in. Obviously, we clean up. We got our bathroom. Then there's the doorway to our bedroom. And that bedroom is just like pretty much like one big old studio bedroom. They had one side of the room is like the kids' sleep/living room. And then the other side is our bed. Whatever. That's the only side of the house we ain't nothing. I can say for a fact that he was there because it was laying in bed pissing me off, not helping me do anything this week.
Now, who physically picked Quentin up and put him in the playpen last night?
I did. I put him in there after we ate, bathed, bath, everything, laid down, had the tablet set up for him and everything. So he was laying there. I should have had the tablet. And when I took that away, he was for about 40 minutes.
And what time did you take the tablet away?
9:50.
9:50.
9:52.
Was he asleep at that point, or he was still battling at that
He was
point?
babbling at that point. He didn't fall asleep till about 10:30,
Yeah.
10:40. But now he was still, when I took it away, that's when I was, I can't even make the noises again.
Yeah. So during that time, when you hear him babbling, you don't go in there and check on him, you just hear him.
Yeah, we hear him babbling the whole time or whatever. The way that it is set up, honestly, checking on him like he's like this on the bed and see him. So I'm just hearing him babble. It's when it gets quiet that I check. That's when I'm worried. So when it got quiet, that's when we really got in checked. 12 something before I left to go get some orange now. So I checked again. He's asleep.
Where was Danny when he went to
Thank you. I think we need to take a brief pause. I'm going to ask the jurors to step into the jury room.
Jurors exiting.
Thank you. Everybody have a seat. Tim, what was his number? So it came to my attention, I noticed it, and Mr. Bryant, the clerk, noticed as well that one of the jurors was sleeping. And I was keeping an eye on him, but it seemed to continue. So I thought it was better for us to stop and address it now. You know, I can remind them all of the need to stay awake and to help each other stay awake, but it seems it's pretty early in the day and it seems to be a problem already. So I want to turn to counsel and ask you how you would like to proceed with this. Mr. Hilliard?
Judge, I can just tell you, in the past, sorry, in the past, when you have long, dull, dry stuff to get through, just chopping it up, whether they want to take a break or not, tends to do that because they have to get up, go, do that, come back. So it's the routine breaks are not just, it's to kind of keep them moving and keep them engaged. That's the first thing. The second thing, though, I didn't think about this, but it did come up, and I think we're probably getting to the time delay right now where it may matter, is I don't think it was intentional, but the child's names were mentioned on the record, and I just would like to know if there's any way we could possibly edit that out from going out over the air. I know normally routine is something that we'd redact along the way, so it wouldn't go out, but the names were testified to and dates of birth and things like that. And it's just, I don't know if there's any way to possible to do it. So.
Mr. Dean? Let's first talk about the sleeping juror, and then we'll talk about that. So do you want to just remind them to stay awake at this point, and we give it a go? Because I also understand, too, we're mid-morning. It's a lot to have to listen to.
There's only 3 minutes left in this video. I think we could just press forward and take a lunch break and I don't know, tell them to get coffee if they're coffee drinkers.
Okay. Now, as to the redaction request.
I have no intention of doing that. I mean, these children, their identities and their presence in the house is part of the evidence of the case. I mentioned it in an opening statement. The involvement of other surviving children is one of the reasons that I objected to the presence of cameras in the courtroom to begin with. I understand that based on aspects of Georgia law that impose a strong presumption for open access, that the court made the court's ruling on that. But I don't see any way around it. I'm not going to do an entire trial where I'm referring to these children as ZW and SY. It's just unmanageable.
I'm not asking them to do that. What I'm asking is that their personal identifying information like dates of birth and full names just not be aired. He can do whatever he wants. The request really has more to do with what goes out over the television, Judge. And it doesn't have anything to do with Mr. Dean or his presentation of the evidence. I understand he can do what he needs to do in here, but that information going out is what my concern is about the children, Jane and Scott.
So I understand that. So are you asking, for instance, that Detective Lemons not use the entire dates of birth of the children?
Not using dates of birth or any personal identifying information, and if the media could just maybe bleep the full names out. I'm not asking them to censor themselves. I understand they have to do what they have to do, but it doesn't have to be aired. That's my only real concern, Judge.
Okay. So I'm hearing dates of births, personal identifying information, and I really don't know anything else. The date of birth, I believe, was given for Quentin, and I understand that. I don't recall hearing that for any of the other children.
I think Zane's full name was given, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I'm not trying to hinder the state in any way, shape, or form. It really has more to do with Zane and Scott, Judge, at this point. So I'm just asking if maybe they could bleep it or modify it or in some way, shape, or form, change what happens before they send it out. I know we're on a 30-minute delay. They have a few minutes where they can do that and at least edit that. That's all I'm asking. It's just to protect the children's identities. And other than that, like I said, I understand the state has to do what it has to do.
First, I do understand that you're not trying to affect how the state presents its case. I get that. And you bring up the point that we do have a 30-minute delay with the media. So I would ask the media to not publish full dates of birth of the children. You can use the birth year. And not to publish first and last names of the other two children.
And that seems reasonable. It doesn't hinder the state, and it does protect the children. That's really my only concern in this, Judge.
Okay, very good. We'll proceed in that way. And so let's, Mr. Dean.
I'm sorry, far be it from me to intervene on behalf of Court TV here, but I did say their full names in opening statement. That's been released. I think their full names are part of the public record even before we got in here this week. So I don't know, imposing an order on them to redact like a last name every time somebody says it, I think is maybe a little burdensome, and I think it's kind of water under the bridge at this point.
You know, I do think it's burdensome. I do think it's water under the bridge. I think that we're going to proceed as we have been. So I am not going to impose that restriction on the media. It's a 30-minute delay. I'm not going to impose that restriction on the media. That information, some of that information is already in the record at this point. We're going to proceed. Mr. Hilliard, I do understand your concern for the identities of the younger children or the other children being not published, but we're going to proceed as we have been.
I made the record, Judge. I understand.
Thank you, sir. All right. Please bring the jurors out. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat in the jury box and in the rest of the courtroom as well. The good news as we begin this video is that there's only about 3 minutes or so left. Okay. I'm just going to ask you all, it's really hard, and I get it. It's quiet, and sometimes things are droning on. Do your best to stay awake and to pay attention to what's here. I know it's difficult, but let's give it a try. And so with that, Mr. Dean.
Just to make the record clear, I stopped the playback at 25 minutes and 12 seconds into the file, and I'll resume it now.
Thank you.
He was on the couch, on the bed. He was on the bed watching something. I can't remember the name. Cops go to heaven, or something about cops in heaven. I feel like fighting.
This Danny, is he a drug user at all?
No, at all? No. If anybody wants to say he does anything, he drinks. And that's only like 6 packs a day. On a good day.
Has Danny ever been violent with the kids at all? No.
No, never even violent towards me. most violent I've ever seen him was hitting a horn and traffic.
So Danny gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, this morning specifically. Gets up at 5. Do you hear him leave the house?
No, I didn't hear him leave at all, which is why I told him, I was like, well, if you did drop him off and you did, like, I don't remember if he took him somewhere. I didn't even know he got out of bed this morning. So, that.
Do you normally sleep that heavy?
No.
You don't?
No, I think it had a lot to do with was tired, pain, everything. So I was like, I was out when I was finally out.
And, Quentin, he didn't get any medications last night. He wasn't sick, no Robitussin, no cough syrup, nothing like that. He didn't have
No,
anything.
they've all my kids have been a little stuffy. But I'm figuring it's just a change in weather. So I don't give them medicine unless you're running a fever or like sound like you're about to die.
Do they, where do you keep all the medicine?
In my bathroom cabinet or in the kitchen cabinet above the sink.
Does he ever go in there by himself?
He can't get up there if he wanted to.
Okay.
Even with the little stools and chairs, his little, the dude's short and bow-legged. Okay, his legs are like this, and he stands up, his head maybe a little bit above my knee.
When did you call? What time this morning did you call Danny?
I remember looking at the phone while I was yelling at him, saying I couldn't find Quentin. It was like 9:17 at that point.
Was that before or after 911? Did you call Danny?
That was before, and then when I looked around again and still couldn't find him, I called again. We called 911 after that. 911 was called by 9:30. I realized Quentin was missing by 9. I was on a 30-minute delay of me trying to find him and see if I could locate him, and then calling Danny to see if he knew anything, saying he did, and that's when I called the cops. And Michelle, she came over right away. It was like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to act right now, man.
And is Danny, what is his normal routine? If you get up, if he leaves, well, this is a little odd because you didn't go to work with him this morning.
Yeah.
I'll stop the playback there at 28:04.
Okay. Thank you. So I think this is as good a time as any to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to release you now for a lunch break. We're going to break. The time now is 12, almost 12:30. Let's aim to be back ready to go at 12:20. That'll give them an opportunity to eat, maybe get an opportunity to get outside also. What did I say? Okay. Really bad math. So thank you for that. And I'm glad y'all got that. So again, do not discuss the case. Do not do any research. Do not look at any media. And with that, continue to follow the instructions, and I will see you back at Ms. Delia 1:20. We'll see you back at 1:20. Thank you.
Jurors exiting.
One other thing, thank you. One other thing, as to redactions and that kind of thing, I'm not going to ask that the state certainly do anything any differently. I am going to ask, with a 30-minute delay, that the news media only use the other children's first name and not use their entire date of birth. They can use the year. I actually think that's a reasonable request, especially considering the fact that that's something the media can do and it affords some protection.
We can't undo what's happened, but going forward, we can
Exactly.
try to do something.
Exactly. Okay. All right. We're in recess. Thank you.
All right, as you just heard, the court is in recess. They said that around 12:30 they were taking lunch. Of course, it is 1 o'clock right now. They're expected to be back in the courtroom by 1:20. So since we are on a 30-minute delay, you can expect this live stream to continue around 1:50. We heard from our second witness today, and they played out that 28-minute interview with Leilani. So we're going to continue covering this. We'll be back around 1:50 for this live stream, but right now they're taking break for lunch.